Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Stage 3 of the 2015 Battle of Los Angeles. Let's waste no time as we have a lot to get through. Match 1, Brian Cage versus Jack Evans. Jack rolls out of the ring and grabs a mic. My god, man, just wrestle the fucking match. Why is this concept so hard for you to understand? He says generic heel stuff insulting PWG and the venues and the fans and blah blah blah. It's all unimportant and pointless. Although then it does make the preceding beatdown by Cage a lot more cathartic, so maybe it did serve a point. Remember old school SmackDown when Brock Lesnar was the next big thing and every week he would just destroy a cruiserweight jobber? This match is like that, except better, as Cage is absurdly strong and Jack is maybe the best in the business for ragdoll selling. That combination makes this almost perfect for the entertaining train wreck that it is. The finish sees Jack reverse Cage's attempt at a Steiner screwdriver into a backslide pin for the free count. Jack Evans advances into the third round. Then he gets fucking destroyed by Cage, so who knows if he'll even make it there. Jack winning this one was kind of strange. After the promo, everyone obviously wanted to see Jack get annihilated, which he did, not getting any offense in throughout the entire match. However, he then ended up winning, so overall he got rewarded as the only thing that matters at this stage is advancing to the next round. So maybe he's going to get his comeuppance later in the tournament, but there's no way that that match is going to be anywhere near as entertaining as this one, so it's just going to be a disappointment. Honestly, I think this really boils down to Jack trying too hard to be a heel. It just doesn't work in PWG. Even the biggest heels in the promotion, Mount Rushmore 2.0, regularly get cheered by the majority of the crowd throughout their matches, as they are incredibly talented performers. Jack's high-flying abilities completely work against him trying to get the crowd to hate him. It's all really out of place and left me wondering what the hell everyone was trying to achieve with this. Match 2, Biff Busick versus Chris Hero. Hot start as Hero was wasting no time. Good kayfabe here, guys. Some of these matches aren't going to go very long, maybe 10 minutes each because of the sheer number of matches Stage 3 has to get through, so ask yourselves why would a match finish that quickly. In the last match it was because Jack got the quick reversal pinfall. In this match it's because both wrestlers are attempting to knock the other out as quickly as fucking possible. Busick and Hero are durable wrestlers known for being a couple of tough SOBs, but big strike after big move is obviously going to wear down that durability immensely. There's only so many strikes to the head a man can take until a bout of unconsciousness sets in. Speaking of which, the finish sees Hero deliver a avalanche piledriver to Busick for the free count. Chris Hero advances to the third round. There was a quick clip of Busick walking to the back before we get to the match 3 title card, which made me feel so much better. Good god, that could have crippled Busick for the rest of his life. Very hard-hitting match overall. I think Hero got in a little bit too much offense. Would have liked to see Busick in control for a bit longer, although that does make sense with how short this match was and the way it started, with Hero bicycle kicking Busick 3 times as he was making his entrance. Outside of that, exactly what you'd expect. Very solid match overall, well done to both competitors. Match 3, Trevor Lee versus Marty Scurll. This one goes more your usual length, so no need to ask why you'd finish early, you just need to have the match. Marty spends the entire match working over Lee's right arm, which is smart as Marty's finisher, the crossface chicken wing, works by wrenching the right arm into a chicken wing. Always good to have some body parts worked over for actual reasons. Big wrestling pet peeve of mine is someone spending an entire match working over something for it not to matter during the finish. We don't get that problem here as the finish of the match, in what I consider to be a legitimate upset victory, sees Marty knock Lee off the top rope and then proceed to do his usual final flurry offense, tornado DDT into the crossface chicken wing. Trevor Lee taps out and Marty Scurll advances to the third round. I call this an upset victory simply because usually newcomers to PWG typically have a couple of losses before getting in their first victory, whereas Marty has had victories over both Rich Swann and Trevor Lee in very quick succession. The victory against Trevor here is particularly important as it wasn't too long ago that Trevor was competing against Roddy for the PWG World Championship. I'm hoping this means we get to see Marty as a regular in PWG. Outside of Marty's victory, the match was very solid, usual PWG fare. There was a bit of awkwardness in the feeling out process, but once they got their rhythm down there was no more problems and the two worked a compelling match. Good selling of the arm by Trevor as well when he was on offense. It made the finish all the more believable. Match 4, Pentagon Jr. versus Zack Sabre Jr. in the battle of two world-class second-generation wrestlers who viciously attack arms. A "This is awesome" chant breaks out before the announcer even has a chance to introduce them. The fans have high expectations going into this one, and I don't blame them for 1 second. This is the kind of match you just don't expect to ever get the chance to see. They start off having a tit-for-tat submission contest where each man gets the chance to show off their most impressive looking and convoluted looking submission maneuvers, and it's fantastic to watch. Typically, I don't like spot-to-spot wrestling in one-on-one contests because the matches seem too much like actual wrestling matches, and I like to be fully immersed and forget that at its core, wrestling is just highly physical performance art. But there are of course major exceptions to this, one big one we'll get to later, but for right now, I have no problem with how these two are starting things off. It's also a lovely plus that it seems like there's actual story reason for this style of opening sequence, that both Pentagon and Zack are attempting to one-up the other and prove that they're the superior technical wrestler. Finish sees Sabre reverse a suplex into a ground Kimura lock, Pentagon Jr. taps out, and Zack Sabre Jr. advances to the third round. This match was very much a you get your offense in and then I'll get mine type of match. That style usually isn't very compelling to me, but when there's this level of talent in the ring, it's hard not to be captivated by the technical ability on display. Another very solid match all around. Match 5, Mike Bailey versus Tommy End. So, we just got finished with a submission heavy match based around the technical prowess of the wrestlers involved. I'm thinking this one might be a strike heavy match based around the kicking prowess of the wrestlers involved. Drop kick, rapid corner kicks, high knee, sprinting side kick, roundhouse kicks, axe kick. I'm thinking I might be right. This is a striking contest that may be unmatched anywhere else in the professional wrestling world. Excalibur brings up a very good point in this regard. While you may see other general strikers wrestle against one another, you rarely, if ever, see two strikers wrestle who are both highly trained in kick-focused martial arts, Mike Bailey in Taekwondo and Tommy End in Dutch kickboxing. This match has a lot going for it just because of how unique it is to see these two trade kicks. The finish sees Bailey deliver two spin kicks, shooting star knees, and a buzzsaw kick for the free count. Mike Bailey advances to the third round. So, not surprisingly, this match was fantastic. Competing against someone of similar martial art ability really allowed these two to let loose with some crazily impressive kick sequences. These two lived up to the hype of being striking expert, with only 4 or 5 wrestling moves actually thrown the entire match, yet the match never lost steam or my interest because of that. Once again I say, another very solid match all around. Match 6, William Ospreay versus Matt Sydal. So we've gone from a technical submission based match to a striking kick based match, and now we potentially find ourselves at a high flying fast paced match, and people say PWG is nothing but a bunch of spot monkeys. Ospreay and Sydal start things off technical, but flavoured with their particular brand of high-flying expertise, by which I mean even arm drags have to have multiple flips involved. This is the theme for pretty much all of the match. The finish sees Ospreay hit multiple super kicks and an imploder 450 splash for the free count. William Ospreay advances to the third round. Well, why don't I just copy and paste my paragraph on Marty winning earlier over here for Ospreay's victory? Another upset victory by the logic of the first one. Could PWG be having a changing of the old guard kind of event? Well, probably not. Well, definitely not, in fact, but these victories do make it seem like PWG are serious about getting in new talent, getting them over, and wanting them to appear more regularly, which is fantastic news, as PWG has always been the place to go to see some of the best wrestling on the planet. A wider, more diverse roster will only do wonders in helping PWG maintain that reputation. Back to this match though. I'm sure I'm about to shock you all, but this match was also very solid all around. Great showing by both competitors. Ospreay looked great and proved that he could hang in the big leads, displaying some incredibly impressive athletic ability, and Sydal is as effortlessly impressive as ever and is as much as a treat to watch here as he normally is. Match 7, Mount Rushmore 2.0, Roderick Strong, Super Dragon and Matt and Nick Jackson the Young Bucks versus Rich Swann and Ricochet the Inner City Machine Guns with Angelico and Phoenix. Fun start as Roddy cuts a quick and effective promo saying 2 Point Era is beat some motherfuckers up and there is no one in the back that has the balls to face them. Phoenix runs out, gets some offense in before getting taken out, Angelico runs out, gets some offense in before being taken out, and finally Inner City runs in and just gets some offense in. And on that note, the match actually starts. 2.0 get themselves back in control quite quickly, which is the story of the match. Every time our heroes get a hot tag or just some general offense, it is quickly stopped by 2.0, at least until the breakdown portion of the match when Roddy single-handedly takes out the entire team in a sequence that made me want to stand up and applaud that man's stamina. finish sees every one of our heroes get taken out before Roddy hits an elbow-knee strike combination into the end of Heartache on Swan for the free count. A weird kind of low-key finish leaves an odd impression here. Typically these kind of PWG big tag team matches ramp up to a finish that is completely insane, and for a while that's what it was seeming like it was going to do, but then it just didn't happen. Rewatching, it seems like Dragon legitimately injured himself when performing the double foot stomp onto Ricochet as he rolled out of the ring and walked into the back. That may have ruined the planned finish and everyone had to improvise, but what they came up with really didn't live up to the rest of the match. The rest of the match was pretty great, the kind of thing you've come to expect in PWG. It's fantastic overall wrestling topped off with crazy breakdown and reset sequences involving everyone. It was the perfect timing for this one as well, as it was a welcome break from the one-on-one contests. I was just expecting a bit more from the finish. Hey guys, breaking the review for just a second. Unfortunately, due to some issues the channel is going through, my video limit right now is 15 minutes. With 5 more matches on the card and a retrospective of the entire event I want to talk about, Stage 3 has to be split into 2 videos. So join me over on part 2 as we begin with match 8.